Hello everyone and welcome to Biggs' Home Cooking. I'm Biggs and you're not. Today we're going to be cooking in the kitchen and I'm going to be whipping up a pot roast. I got myself a piece of bottom round and we're going to start that out on the stove top in my 8-quart oval roaster and then finish it off in the oven. So this ought to be a good one. I hope you stick around, stay tuned, and let's get this started. Okay, so to get this cook started, I'm going to be cooking this in my 8-quart oval roaster. Alright, so let's get the gas turned on here and start heating it up. And right now I'm just going to season up the roast. Alright, and I'm just going to go with a little bit of kosher salt on there. And once this heats up, we'll get her in the pan. Okay, now that the pan's been roasting up, I'm just going to add a couple of tablespoons of vegetable oil. Alright, and we'll start browning that up. So in the pan she goes. Alright, so we're going to brown this up on all sides, and in the meantime we're going to get our vegetables cut up. Alright? Okay, so I got my cutting board out with my vegetables, and just going to give this a flip here right now. Okay, there you go, we're getting some nice browning. Alright, so in the meantime, let me chop up my vegetables. I already peeled and my onion and my carrot, and I'm just going to give these a real rough chop, you know? Something like that. And then I'll cut my carrot. Actually, I like to cut it down the center here, and then give it a rough chop. Do the same to this one. Okay. This is all ready to go in as soon as we're done browning. Alright? So we'll meet you back here when this is all done. Okay, now that the meat's all browned up, I'm going to remove and just place it on a platter here. And I'm just going to season that up with my Mrs Dash all around. And yes, that's hot. Alright, so I'm going to set that aside and we'll get our vegetables in the pan. Okay, so I got my vegetables ready to go in, and I just drained off the old grease from after browning the meat, and I'm just going to add a tablespoon of oil, and we'll saute up these vegetables. So let's get those in the pan. Alright, we'll just let those go for a few minutes, and then we'll start adding some spices and so forth and get this going. Get a little base going for it before we add all our liquid. Okay, I'm just going to season my vegetables with a little bit of spike seasoning. Not a lot. And to this, I'm going to add a few bay leaves, some peppercorns, about a teaspoon of dill seed, maybe 6 or 8 cloves, teaspoon of mustard seed. Alright, we'll stir all that in. It's about where I want it right now. And to this, I'm going to add some beef flavor bouillon base. Alright. We give that another stir, work that in all around. Now I'm just going to take a little bit of apple cider vinegar. Maybe a good tablespoon or so. And we'll just deglaze all that good stuff on the bottom there. At this point, we're going to add our meat back to the pan. And from here, we're going to start adding some of our liquid. Alright. I got some Malta Goya. It's a malt type beverage. Alright, it's kind of like a Guinness. Then I'm going to add some beef broth. You only want to come up maybe about a third on this, you know. So I did about half of this container, which was 32 ounces. So I did 2 cups of that. And we're just going to put the lid on this and let it go. I got my oven. I was preheated to 350, and I'm just going to stick it in there. Okay, it's 4 hours. Let's check on the roast. Looking good. Just going to poke it right now, see where we're at. Yeah, this is definitely done. As you can see, all the liquid has reduced down. So let me get this out of the roaster here and into this container. And what I like to do is I eat this the next day. So I'm going to let this cool down and then refrigerate it overnight so it's easier to slice. And then I'm going to take all the liquid and strain it right now. So I'll strain that, and that'll get refrigerated overnight also. And if any fat has accumulated, it's easy to take out. We'll see you tomorrow. Okay, here we are the next day. I got my gravy, and the fat accumulated on top there a little bit, so I'm just going to discard it with my skimmer here. Alright, and then I'm going to put this in my my roasting pan again. I guess I got about a good cup's worth of gravy there right now. And I'm looking to make at least a couple cups. Alright, so let me turn the light on underneath here. Okay, so I'm going to make a little more gravy for this. And I got some of the broth left over. And I'm going to use that up. I guess there's about a couple cups there. And to that, I'm going to add some of my Wondra flour. This is good for making gravies and sauces. And I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of that to the broth. And we're going to mix this well. The good thing about the Wondra flour is it dissolves quicker and prevents from lumping. So now that that's all stirred up good, I'm going to add this to the existing gravy. And we're going to let that go and heat up and reduce down just a little bit to thicken up. Okay? In the meantime, I'm going to slice up my meat. I'll be back. Okay, so I have my meat removed from the refrigerator. It's cold. It should be a little easier to slice, and basically it won't fall apart on you. But let me see if I can figure out which way the grain is going on this, and if I'm cutting it the right way. It's hard to tell. Let me cut one this way. Okay, this is the way I'm cutting it right here. So I'm going to cut, you know, some 1/4-inch slices. And then when my gravy has reduced down a little bit, I'm going to add my slices back to the pan for a little reheat and then to absorb all the gravy. Alright, and then we're going to serve this with some egg noodles tonight. Alright, so I'll be back. Let me finish this. Okay, so the gravy's reducing a bit still, thickening up. And let me add the meat to this. And then we'll just get this down into the gravy, get it all covered. And we'll cover that and let that warm through and thicken a bit more. Alright? When that's all done, we'll be back and ready to serve. Okay, while the meat's still simmering, I meant to do this step beforehand. But I'm going to add a little of red wine vinegar. I like to brighten up my sauces just a little bit. So maybe a good tablespoon or so of that. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of my old standby Gravy Master. And we're just going to add, you know, about a teaspoon or tablespoon of that. Alright, that's all it needs. And then we'll work that in. Okay, it's looking good. Just going to let this go for a little while longer, cook up the noodles, and we'll be ready to serve. Okay, so the slices have been simmering away. I'm going to shut the heat down and we're going to plate up right now. Got some egg noodles that I will plate up. And I will get a few slices on the plate here. Alright, so there you have it. And I get a few string beans on the plate here. And we'll garnish it with a little bit of parsley. You know what I did forget was to put a little gravy on the noodles. Alright. And there you have it. A plate of pot roast and some egg noodles. Big man style. Alright, we'll meet you in at the table. Take a taste. Okay, so here we are at the dinner table. I got my slices of pot roast, some egg noodles, some gravy on it, and some string beans. So, I tell you, this pot roast is so tender right now. See how these egg noodles are? They're always good. So, I'd just like to say thanks for everybody for watching and staying tuned to my pot roast cook here. I appreciate it, and I'll be putting out some more videos, so stay tuned. See you on the next one. Take care. Oh man, that's tender.